been talking about it a lot in terms of brand loyalty, and it's not always that easy to keep, and especially today with expectations being higher than ever, and also as everyone I think has brought up, inflation and prices and just, you can't find the product. So we need to be more creative in terms of getting that brand loyalty, and these guys here are going to talk just about that and what's working for them. So why don't you guys just go down the line and introduce yourselves, and then we'll get started.
Yep. I'm Ryan Holleley. I work with Glanbia Performance Nutrition, and I am the Senior Digital Marketing Manager.
Hey, I'm Brad Flaherty. I'm with Fire Department Coffee. I am the CMO and Creative Director.
I guess that makes me Keith Barber, Director of Digital Customer Experience at Tyson Foods.
Okay, that was the most succinct introductions I've ever heard.
We can go longer. If
Yeah, no, we're good.
I think we can also make a quartet here with a lot of bassy voices.
We have definitely some good, what is it, a baritone, right? Yeah. Well, all right, just jumping right into it. I mean, as we're saying, brand loyalty is difficult, and I think we've all had to, or you guys have all had to step up your game. So let's just, start with you, Ryan, in terms of what have you been doing differently, or at least maybe upping your game in terms of trying to really create that brand loyalty?
Yeah, so for us at Glanbia, at the start of COVID, I'm sure like a lot of us in this room who have products, we dealt with a lot of out of stocks and product availability issues. So what we tried to do was obviously identify those items that were out of stock and try to stay in constant communication with our customers by leveraging either email or text messaging. Some of our brands do have direct-to-consumer capabilities, and when the pandemic hit, we saw a huge increase of traffic to our website, which gave us that 1P data, which allowed us to identify these items that we needed to stay in communication with our customers because we knew they were looking for them.
Well, but you also mentioned about Slim Fast in terms of that was one that you really needed to connect with and let people know about. So talk about how you did that.
Yeah, so with Slim Fast specifically, leveraging text was one of the things that they did. Obviously, Slim Fast being one of our large flagship brands, and having Walmart being one of the primary retail locations for that product, having out of stocks is not acceptable for them. So making sure to stay connected or constantly connected with the customer, letting them know when it's available, when it's back in stock at this place where they're shopping, was very important to not only us, but to them.
Right, and we will be hearing more of that at our next event that he can't talk about now, but very good results. Okay, so Brad, obviously for you guys, COVID was a boom for you. It's again what was mentioned with Jamie, a horrible situation, but it turned well in terms of business-wise. So your real challenge was keeping that business. So talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as rough as the pandemic was for everyone, it was great for the coffee business. At least for our business, we saw an influx of people coming to our website, getting coffee at home, reordering. So that was a great thing. So part of that was how do we keep our customers coming back? How do we keep those customers loyal? Part of that is with our email and our SMS. That was our first way to keep in touch with our audience. People want to know what's going on, what are the new products, what information we're putting out there. So having people come to our website, sign up, and then be on our marketing list was important for us to be able to have a touch point with them later on, and also segment that touch point of having them come. We want them to come back to the website. We want them to continue to order. So if they've come to the website and they've dropped off, we have the abandoned cart message. We have an abandoned browser message. So, given an amount of time after someone has left our website and we know who they are as far as they've signed up with their email before, we can follow up with them of, hey, you've left something in your cart, or hey, thanks for browsing. Is there anything else we can help you with? Very customer service focused, where we allow people to reply to that email to say, let us know if they're not finding what they want. We also give them prompts of, are you looking for a certain kind of coffee? Take this quiz. Let's find out what's the best fit for you. So those are the kinds of things that we were able to leverage to bring people back to our website and then bringing them down a journey or a flow that allows them to experience our brand, know what we're about, continue to come back, and then even, inviting them to come back more often to find out what's new.
Well, and I think also when you're talking about your website and doing surveys, but a big part of it is getting that content on your website, because you guys have a great story. I mean, you're started by a firefighter. It's for firefighters and first responders in terms of, helping to support them. So is that a big part of the content on your website, not only with the surveys, but, and as you talked about, how you're following up with with people leaving their carts empty, but how important is your site and how you keep that maintained to creating this kind of loyalty?
Yeah, that's part of the story. As far as our company, just to give you a quick background, we're started and run by firefighters. We're a veteran-owned company, but we also give back to first responders who are sick and injured. So as part of that being our story, that's also our mission behind our coffee. Coffee just happens to be the vehicle for the mission that we have. So allowing people to know our story when we are having those touch points with them, whether it's through SMS or email, is important that people know when they're purchasing our product, they're helping others.
Well, it's just to know who you are, why you stand out. There's, a lot of coffee people, one in the room in particular. And so it's just definitely you need to show how you differentiate yourself. So now, Keith, I know for you with Tyson Foods, obviously huge, huge company, but your main challenge is you guys don't own the your consumer information. So talk about that and what you're dealing with in terms of trying to create brand loyalty.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing like a great pandemic to really shine a light on where your opportunity areas are. At Tyson Foods, we're really focused right now in the B2B space, which is a little different for this room, right? Everybody's B2C, B2C, or DTC. We've started on the food service mission and really driving loyalty post-pandemic because we thought that was the easy ground to go prove a business case. We managed 27 brands under one master brand on one platform across 9 channel segments. So super simple, right? And delivering a program then that resonates and drives value across all those different customer types has really been our primary focus, and really trying to determine what is value to the customer. I think that's been our biggest opportunity area because pre-pandemic, our loyalty program was on a Big Chief tablet and a number 2 pencil, basically, run by the sales teams, and it was a pricing discount program, which race to the bottom on that. So really understanding by customer segment what drives value, what's resonating, and it turns out, depending on the customer segment, it can be as simple as, hey, Tyson, just provide me insights free of charge, and that's value, and that drives that loyalty back to the brand, whichever one of the 27 it is.
Well, also you had to deal with supply chain issues as well, but wasn't that a big part of how, by at least informing your customers in terms of when they were going to receive things, that helped again with your brand loyalty?
Yeah, now we haven't evolved to where that's incorporated within the loyalty program, but it's on the roadmap now, which again, COVID was a great awakening for us as an organization as to what problems you could solve through a loyalty program, and making that a two-way communication vehicle for the customer to communicate back to us what they needed in terms of product, so that we could ensure that product showed up for them and fix some of those supply chain issues we had early on through the pandemic. I think it's complicated in our business because we sell into a distributor, a Cisco, a US Foods, somebody like that, and then they sell to the end operator. But the loyalty platform opens up that line of communication to that operator who's generating pull demand, and getting that line of sight to what's coming has really made a big difference for us.
Great. And well, now let's get into, Brad, you touched on it a little bit with, using tech, using automation. How are you leveraging it even more so? And I know that you even tried something that maybe didn't work so well. So talk about that a little bit first, and then what you now are doing.
Yeah, so we did try a loyalty program for our customers to, for them to earn points and come back and use those points either towards discounts or free product. But that didn't really catch on as well as we wanted to. Also, maybe we didn't give it enough time. You know, living in this digital age where, you know, we have time to see if something's working and then quickly react. And I think with the loyalty program, maybe we weren't just using the right one. But I will say what we've done instead of that is actually be more proactive with our customers, being more intentional with our messaging rather than saying, hey, you've got X amount of points to use, come on back and use them. Really, we're getting a little bit more personal with how we're reaching out to our customers and letting them know through segments. So, you know, with the email provider that we use, we're able to segment our customers and figure out which category they're in. We are a company that's run by firefighters, but we're not specifically just for firefighters and first responders. You know, coffee's really for anyone. So we know we have to tailor our message if we are speaking to first responders, that we will have a message that's specifically for first responders who are looking at that message, and what kind of incentives that we're giving them. You know, it's great for us to put out a gift with purchase. It seems to work really well with the first responder audience, especially when they're wearing something that has a firefighter symbol on it or something that resonates with them culturally, but also personally. And then with our audience that's outside of the first responder audience, you know, if it's something with, you know, buy one, get one. So if it's someone who really likes our coffee, they're going to be able to come back and get more of what they want, you know, and paying, you know, a lesser amount for it. So it runs the gamut of who we're speaking to and what kind of message we're sending out, but it's tailored to our customer. So that's how we're actually leveraging our loyalty, is being more specific and being more personal.
Well, what I found was interesting is something you had mentioned, was when you told people the price of what they were getting free, that it really upped the game as well. So talk about that and what type of experience you saw with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we had a promotion of we're giving away a hat when you spend X amount of dollars, that hat, we're letting people know that's a $30 value. So when people are actually thinking about their purchase of, do I want to pull the trigger on buying this? Well, I'm buying a, you know, $14.99 bag of coffee, or a couple of bags of coffee, and then I'm getting this hat that's a $30 value. Like, that's just like a no-brainer to most of the customers. Or especially if you're doing the buy one, get one. It's like, okay, well, I'm getting two for the price of one. I don't mind me paying this amount, but if I'm getting two for that, you know, it's all about psychology of what is working, and where our customers want to see value, because that adds value for us when customers see value for them.
Well, it's funny because I just like anything free. You know, you don't tell, like, I steal everything. All the people think everyone leaves. So, so just the fact that it really did make a difference that you said the cost. I think that was interesting. So Keith, what about you? What are you doing in terms of leveraging tech or anything?
Yeah, I love what Brad says about audience segmentation, because that's where it's starting for us right now, and it's taking the data that we have and really understanding who our customer is. You know, I introduced this notion that we're talking across 9 different customer segments, right? And historically, we've kind of generically talked to everybody. So now through audience segmentation, I know that's a pizza operator, I know they're in the Northeast, and I can tailor the messaging to them directly. In terms of technology to make that happen, over the course of the next probably 12 months, 18 months, if my IT department gets involved. Sorry if you're in the IT side of the world. We are going to revamp our entire experience across an app, a digital app that will drive our loyalty program. We're introducing right now a CDP internally that will pull in SAP data along with CRM data and start giving us a 360 view of customer, including that audience segmentation, so that we think we can get really targeted and make sure that every time we deliver a message, it's relevant and means something through the content.
Is all of this also, as you said, you don't really own the customer information. Is this now bringing it into you where you can have it in the fold?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, for us, the driving purpose behind a loyalty program is to capture that data, that customer information that today is kind of behind a walled garden with the distributor.
Right, and so, and for Ryan, for you as well, I know before COVID, e-commerce wasn't, it was a blip on what you had to do, but now, obviously, it's become first, the focus. Talk about that and how you've had to adjust in terms of with tech and.
Yeah, so at the start of COVID or prior to, our organization's been around for 30 years, building our business with our brick and mortar partners and our specialty retailers. But obviously, when COVID hit, we saw a massive increase in traffic to our website, where we did at the time sell product, but it was not our primary focus. So we really took a step back and started to try to improve our site experience. Luckily for us, right before COVID, in I want to say November, we redesigned our whole platform so the experience looked a little bit better than it did because it hadn't been touched in probably 7+ years. And with the increase in traffic in that first year, we saw, I want to say, over 300% increase in sales in that first year. So when year 2 came around, our finance department was like, oh, here's a new channel for you guys. Like, what are you doing next year to help grow and continue the growth for D2C? So we took a step back, started talking about loyalty programs and what we can do to help increase our average order value and purchase frequency. And we spoke with a ton of different providers for our loyalty program, but setting it up and getting told, oh, it's going to take 3 to 6 months potentially to get this thing up and running. We didn't have that time, and luckily for us, we had just acquired a company over in the Netherlands called Body and Fit, who is strictly direct to consumer. And we moved over to their platform, and we quickly discovered that they had this tiered, giftable platform kind of built into the website. So what we were able to do was quickly identify some items as GWPs and offer those to customers if they spent over a certain amount. And what we were trying to do is get those customers that were, purchasing under the free shipping threshold to get above that. And then from there, we also segmented a group that was buying just over, like the bare minimum over, and how do we get them to increase their basket value, and incentivizing them with, a $14 product definitely did the trick. We saw huge increases in our average order value as well as frequency. So, just being scrappy with what we had and at our hands turned out to be really beneficial for us because it was at no cost.
Yeah. Well, Ryan goes way back with us, and so, but you initially, when we first were talking, it was all about keeping it about, in the stores, getting people to Walmart or wherever they may be. And then obviously COVID really changed the game for you guys, and I think that's what a lot of you guys are experiencing.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier, stock availability was huge, right? So we attributed a lot of our traffic to the fact that customers were going to stores and couldn't find certain items. Even ourselves, some of the raw materials that we use in our products, we need to import. And we couldn't import a lot of the stuff, so we knew there was going to be issues keeping our customers happy. And within our industry, creatine is creatine. It doesn't taste like anything, so if you're a brand loyalist, there isn't much brand loyalty when it comes to those raw material ingredients or single ingredient products, so people switch. So staying in constant communication when we knew, with all the data we were getting now through our direct-to-consumer website, to reach out to those customers saying, hey, we have this back, or it was really helpful for us to stay connected with our customers.
Well, and this is definitely jumping into what we're going to be the main focus, but I do want to start with Keith, but it's right down the line. What is your main focus now, aside from, what you've been doing, not only what's been working, but moving forward?
Yeah, I think really 3 things for me. The first being leverage second and third party data while we still can. Pull that into well-designed nurture campaigns so that we can capture first-party declared data that Tyson can uniquely own around our customer is probably priority 1. I think priority 2, we're then using that data and that customer information for upsell, cross-sell opportunities, because at the end of the day, 27 brands, a lot of our customers may buy one or two and not even be aware that Tyson owns Jimmy Dean and Hillshire Farms and Ballpark. Like, that, probably most of the folks in this room think of Tyson as the red oval and chicken, right? Dead birds in a box, as we call them.
Sounds delicious.
We're all now vegans, okay.
Yeah. So, and then I think third, in my seat, you got to keep the organization investing in what you're doing. So it's really about spend efficiency and return on ad spend, and we're finding our most effective and most efficient spend is on those brand loyalists, and getting them to buy incrementally versus going out and recruiting new customers.
Well, and we'll leave that image in our head for everyone. But, well, Ryan, I want to ask you, because you touched on it in terms of now it's really connecting with customers and keeping them informed, which I think obviously things are going to happen that aren't, you're not going to have the product or whatever it may be, but as long as people are aware of it, you can still maintain that loyalty. So I think this is when we jump into social media, of course. So talk about that.
Yeah, so honestly, with social media for us, we like to leverage our brand loyalists as the voice of our brands. I like to say that people stop following brands on social media. They follow people, and they take those recommendations from those people very closely, right? So we like to make sure that we're partnering with our brand loyalists to keep them in contact or let them know when things are available, and then work with them also to help push our message to our customers. So we leverage a lot of the micro, macro influencers and use their voices as ours. So social media has taken a very big step for us. Like when I first started, we didn't do any of it. It was not really a primary focus at all for our brands. But staying in contact with the customers via social media has been a huge improvement for us to keep them within our customer base.
Well, and also, and again, I'm sorry, Lisa, I keep referencing you, but talking about you don't want to sabotage or take away from that retail presence, but you're able to incorporate what you're doing online with also in-store sales.
Yeah, so we had some tools on our platform that help redirect customers to their retailer of choice. So what we're also using is that information to find out where customers were going to buy their product. Targeting a Amazon shopper with an ad for Walmart is probably not the greatest idea. And not only does our retailer not like it, but conversions don't like it. So we try to leverage the data that we have to target customers and send them to the retailer of their choice. Because it's a lot easier to sell an Amazon shopper something on Amazon than it is to sell them something on Walmart. So
But you're owning the information. So basically, you're now bringing them to you first, as opposed to, as I said, when we used to speak, you didn't care so much about bringing it to you. It was all about getting it to the retailer.
Yeah, it was shove everyone to the retailers, and now we're kind of like, well, the data is really nice, so maybe we'll bring them to us first. Margins are great too when you're selling direct to your customer, if you have the right price points though, and we do. So getting that first-party data, and then, like I said, we know where customers are going. It's very easy for them to open another screen and go price check at Amazon or somewhere else. So then when we're retargeting them later on, if we know that that's where they're going to, then we'll use that information to push those customers there.
Got it. And so, Brad, I know social media obviously was huge in just getting your brand out there to the world. So talk about that and how it's evolved.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have a unique situation where we are D2C only. We're e-commerce. We are getting into some retail, but for the most part, you can buy our product directly online. So we don't have, right now, we're not having to, I don't want to say jump through hoops, but have those challenges of who are we sending them to, and can we sell the same products as we sell online as we do in store. So, and then I'm sure that's a great problem to have, but we're not there yet. So as far as having that information and considering that, we are D2C first, data is super important to us. And I'm getting to the social media part of it, but data is super important to us. So driving people to our website is important because that's where we're getting people to sign up. And then as a side note, we actually we were talking about gaming yesterday. I found that really interesting, about Adam and Paul talking about, how they've gamified things and how they're integrating, Pepsi and Gatorade. into the experience of gamers. And that was a fascinating presentation yesterday. But that we understand too that our customers love games. And so we have on our website, we have a spin to win. So you can spin when you go to our website. If you haven't been there before, it'll automatically pop up, and you have a chance to spin by putting in your information, your email, and your phone number. So it's a give to get kind of thing. But we have a lot of people who love doing that, and they don't mind giving their information because they're getting something for it. Driving people to our website to actually do that is through our social media. And our social media is like really what is the driving force to get people to our website. We have content that we put out constantly, daily, multiple times a day, whether that's through memes, whether that's through photo memes, whether that's through video, and other types of content. So we are hitting on all the channels that are relevant, and we're also hitting on all the touch points that our customers want to see. Humor is a big thing for us because we know that if people are laughing, then they're willing to share, and if they're willing to share, then that allows us to increase views on our content. And we had mentioned this several times since we've been here, but influencers obviously are the new celebrities. So we work with influencers who actually have a stake in in the fire service, in the first responder service, to make our content relevant. It's not someone that we just hire who comes in and just like, let's be funny, and then just for funny's sake. It has to be, it has to be relatable. And understanding our core audience is first responders, but it's not just for first responders where anyone can really find the content funny that we're putting out. So TikTok is a huge driver for us, as well as Instagram Reels, and that has allowed us to generate the views that we're looking for to get people to our website. And working with these influencers, creating videos on a consistent basis has allowed us to reach at least, right now our reach is around 5 million followers across all of our platforms, and that's including all of our influencers with their reach.
Well, and I think that's the key, but before, I wanted to do one follow-up. Anyone who has questions, think about them, and I'll be getting to you. But you talked about just, you're kind of across the board in terms of the different social channels you're using. But how do you, because I know you mentioned you also incorporate email into that, which we did see that in terms of the survey. And I've just talking with people, email has definitely become more part of that omni-channel kind of thing, as opposed to separate on its own. So how did you reinforce it with email, but still keeping with your social?
Yeah, so especially when we are sending out emails, we don't always want to be sales driven. I mean, obviously, we're a company, we need to make money, but it's not always sales driven. And behind our story of being a first responder company, we give back to first responders, and that's what people want to hear about. So we follow up with stories of who we've been able to give back to. So Fire Department Coffee has a foundation that we're able to give back to first responders, and when we're able to give back to someone in need or an organization that helps other first responders, we do a story on it. That which we'll put on our website and our blog section that helps with our SEO, especially if someone wants to know about that person or that organization that we gave to. We incorporate that into our SEO if anyone's searching for that, and letting our audience know that we're not just about making money to grow our business. We're also about helping others. So that has actually been a great driver for us as well, because people are willing to to spend to help give back to others, because they feel that their money is, they're getting something, they're getting the coffee that they want, and then also that part of that money is going to help another person. So it helps with our story, but it's not disingenuous where we want to let our audience know this is how you've helped us this month, and this is how these are the people that you've helped, and be able to do stories on those people that we are able to help through our sales of selling coffee.
Great. So do we have any questions out there? No? Okay. Oh.
Hold on. I was just going to make a joke. Somebody needs some coffee. Wait a minute. Let us know who you are, where you're from.
I am fully caffeinated thanks to this iced tea. Thank you, John. I'm Quinn, and I'm from Maverick. I love how you all are using brand loyalists to promote your brand, create UGC, and I'm curious around how you are identifying those customers with influence. And second part to my question, kind of a leading question, but thinking about ambassador programs, and what are your thoughts there?
I didn't hear.
Oh, well, so as far as using ambassador programs and how, and did you say how are we getting those loyalists? Yep. Yeah. I mean, for us, it is through social. We're driving people to our website and getting that first-party data, because honestly, first-party data is gold. That's how we're able to use that, and we can use that across different platforms. I mean, everyone knows at this point that, you know, there's so many limitations between Facebook, you know, even within TikTok as well. So we're limited more and more every day. So first-party data is honestly the gold that you need to be able to reach your customer, because that is the absolute, you know, they're willing to give it to you, you know, based, you know, going through your website. So taking that information and being able to segment and to reach those customers specifically through that first-party data is what's we've been able to leverage that information that they're willing to provide to help us keep them loyal. And with ambassador programs, yeah, we actually just started an ambassador program, which it's going pretty well. I mean, we're a couple months into it, so I mean, we're just kind of figuring things out and how is it going. But for the most part, you know, people love to give their opinion. So, you know, when they're putting that out on social media and they're tagging us, or if they have their own set of, you know, if they have their own blog, or if they have their own vlogs that they do, we get a lot of moms who come to our website and they're like, I need coffee constantly because, you know, I'm keeping up with my kids, and then she, you know, will document basically her day through a vlog or a blog, and that makes sense, and she's not a first responder, even though we say moms are the original first responder. So, but that at least, you know, that's a whole new audience that we're able to speak to. They're not a first responder, and they're a mom, and they're doing the day-to-day tasks, and they're an ambassador for our brand. So because of the first-party data, especially with our ambassador program that we just started, they're giving us their first-party data information through our website, and then we're able to use that, you know, the best way possible. Hopefully that answered your question.
Did you want to add to it?
We're still trying to think about brand ambassadors. I would be how I'd characterize it. It's on the food service side, it's a little interesting, right? Because if I'm a chef working at this restaurant, it's a very competitive position that they're in. So they don't want to talk about their business or what's working, or, you know, it's their special sauce. But we have channels, like you think about the K-12 or the college and university channels, where they're very open community, and they're looking for influencers and ambassadors to raise their hand and say, hey, in Scottsdale school district, this is working great. You should leverage the new Tyson chicken nugget or whatever. So I think it'll be a channel by channel thing at Tyson. I think there's a lot of energy certainly on my team to introduce ambassadors, but we got to be careful how we do it.
Did you have anything?
I was just going to say, yeah, for us, one of our brands, Optimum Nutrition, has a lot of sponsored athletes, and we never really leveraged them that much in the past. And starting 2 years ago, we started to incentivize them to drive traffic to the website and pay them a commission of the sales. And it was cheaper than paying for media. And we saw that our athletes having a voice, talking more frequently about our brands, drove much more awareness to their followers. Because in the past, you know, if we didn't incentivize them to post something or reach out to them, like, hey, we're going to send you some free product, can you please post about this today? They wouldn't do it. Now that we're incentivizing them and, you know, giving them commission, they're posting about us daily. You know, they're out there showing them what they're drinking, showing them their workouts. They'll always make sure that they have the little tub in the background. And we haven't really gone outside of our sponsored athletes to do this, but it is something that we definitely want to do.
All right. Well, that is great, guys. Thank you so much, Keith, Brad, and Ryan. You're awesome. Appreciate everyone.